Hey there, greetings everyone. We are going to have a little true crime recap kind of thing, mostly about the weird ways that some criminals got caught. These are things that I find really interesting because it just kind of shows you how some people put so little thought into what they're doing or have this like bizarre hubris that they're going to get away with you know, any crime that they wish to commit. So let's do a couple of people here. Let's start with Letecia Stauch. All right. So you may not know her whole story, but it's interesting to note that one of the ways that Letecia was convicted was because she went on a website that allows you to make fake lie detector tests, right? So you contact the company, you tell them what you want, what questions you want to ask, and what you want, how you want your answer to be, and they create the test, which they made look very official. But of course, no one in law enforcement or an attorney or anything would look at that and know it's real. But it's the kind of thing where, like, if you were like cheating on your partner and you were like, look babe, I got this I got this lie detector test, look, it shows that I'm telling the truth. So anyway, she tried to do this, and her questions were like, did you have anything to do with the disappearance of your stepson? No. And so the people behind the website contacted law enforcement, and one thing led to another, and that became evidence in her trial, which of course she was convicted of. Another person who got caught with trying to hire a hitman, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who do, but this was a really funny case, Dalia Dippolito. And it was, fortunately, she didn't succeed, but she talked to some guy at her gym saying that, like, asking him if he knew anybody who could be a hitman. He thought this was really weird and suspicious. In fact, I think he was an ex-boyfriend. And then he went to a cop friend who set up a decoy for her. So the actual hitman that he hooked her up with was an undercover detective. Okay, so they record the whole thing in the car. He records it, and she's like all into it, and she's like, "Yeah, I can't wait to get out of this." Blah 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 blah. She keeps saying like 10,000% or something ridiculous as in terms of like how certain she is she wants to do this. And anyway, she gets busted, and it's all very dramatic because it just so happened that cops was filming in the area, and I guess they were in contact with the actual police in the area, and they were like, well, we're about to go to this guy's house while his girlfriend's at the gym. She believes that a hitman is going to come and kill him, but instead we're going to show up and say, you need to get out of here right now. Your girlfriend tried to, or I think it was his wife, tried to have you killed, and we intercepted. So so they filmed the whole thing on cops, and look it up if you want to. It's a hilarious scene where like the cop goes up to her and he's like, "Are you Dalia? We have some difficult news for you." And without missing a beat, not even a single second goes by, and she's like blubbering. It's like they barely even got the sentence out of their mouths, and her overreaction was so immediate. It was like obvious that she already knew what they were going to say. So anyway, so she got caught doing that. And then the funny thing is, her defense when she went to trial was, we were making a reality show, I was just testing out what a hitman would be like. And but meanwhile, she didn't record that. The police recorded that little interaction. So that made no sense. Okay, so that was Dalia. Another really interesting one is Chandler Halderson. I don't know if you know this story, but Chandler Halderson was just this ordinary college kid who was living at home with his parents and was lying about everything. So he was lying that he was in school, in college. He was lying that he had a job when he graduated from college, that he had a job with this insurance company. He was lying about everything. And then the big whopper was that he got hired by SpaceX in Florida, and he was about to go out there to move to Florida. All of this was fabricated. So finally, his father does a little bit of research and figures out that in fact Chandler has been lying all along. The father only realized the lies about his college and the transcripts and why he couldn't obtain the transcripts and so forth. So that was bad enough. But he didn't even, I don't even think he pieced together all the other lies. Or maybe he did. We'll never know because Chandler shot him and then his mother and then dismembered the bodies. And so here's the interesting way that he got caught. It's a little gruesome, so I'm not going to go into great detail, but let's just say he had body parts that he stuffed into the family Subaru, and he went up to the farm that was owned by his girlfriend's mother's partner. Okay, so the girlfriend's mother had this partner who had this huge farm that she lived on with her elderly dad. It was just a lot of acreage. There was a pool, there were woods bordering the fields and everything. Chandler drives up there under the excuse that he wants to use the pool, and he goes and leaves part of his father's body up in the woods. So this strikes a little bit of like a red flag with the girlfriend's mother. She was like, what is he doing? What is he doing up there? Is he doing drugs? You know, you don't think right away, is he hiding a body? That's not what you assume. You know, so she thought this was like some weird drug-induced thing. Okay, so then, and then his girlfriend did a screenshot on Snapchat that showed that Chandler was he was up by some lake that was quite far away from where he lived, very early in the morning. And she, you know, because like on Snapchat, you can see everybody's location. I mean, if they permit you to. So boyfriend and girlfriend, of course, he let it be known where he was at any given time. She looks on her Snapchat. She sees that he's there. She's like, what is he doing by this lake? It's like 8:30 in the morning. Screenshots it, shows it to the cops later, and guess what? They go up there and there were more remains found there. So when they bring him in for questioning, they know all of this. They have the bodies, and they are confirmed to be, you know, through DNA. They do that pretty quickly, confirmed to be his parents. And he's given them this whole sob story. Oh yeah, I fell and my brain is injured and I might need a colostomy bag. He actually says that, okay? He did like a fake pratfall, went to the hospital, reported symptoms of a concussion, insisted that they give him a neck collar, acted much more injured than he actually was, and then, you know, hyped it up for whatever it was worth. And the cops were not buying that, let's just say. Okay, so that's how Chandler got caught. Who else? Oh, Sarah Boone. She's an interesting one. So Sarah Boone, Sarah Boone got rip-roaring drunk with her boyfriend, which is something that she did on a fairly regular basis. And he was alleged to be a bit abusive. So they were fooling around, just, you know, drinking, and she says playing games, and they were going to play hide and seek. So he hid in a suitcase. So, and she had to zip it up, right? He couldn't like zip himself. It's ridiculous. He gets into the suitcase, like a large size suitcase, and then she reports to the police the next day that he zipped himself into the suitcase. He couldn't get out, and she just like accidentally went to sleep. So when that one is found out, they take possession of her phone, which is something law enforcement always does. And this one was really easy. She didn't even bother to delete the video where she's holding the camera, holding the phone, showing her boyfriend in the suitcase, and muffled from within the suitcase, you hear him going, Sarah, babe, I can't breathe. I can't breathe, Sarah. And she's like, oh, so now you know how I feel. And he's like, Sarah. And then she goes, that's my name. Don't wear it out. Like, just, you know, such a clever term from third grade. But she doesn't let him out. She leaves him in there. She goes to sleep, and the next morning he's dead. And so when she's being questioned by the police, she has this like weird attitude that because she didn't mean to leave him in the suitcase, everybody will understand and she will be exonerated. And that's not at all what happens. And then she doesn't know about the phone footage until they kind of turn the laptop around and show her. And she starts pleading with the police to like, oh, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. Like as though they were like torturing her. And they're just kind of like, you did it. That's your voice. That's your boyfriend. That's him dying in the suitcase. Okay? You're going to jail. Okay, so that was another one. And what else? Do I have one more? Oh, Nancy Brophy. All right, well, this is the best one because Nancy was an older woman. She liked writing like mystery and crime novels, I think, but nobody ever published them. They were very poorly written, so she did some that were self-published. And one of the stories she wrote was called How to Murder Your Husband. So what do you think happened there? Her husband, who was like this beloved chef and teacher, he was working at this culinary institute in Oregon, and he was just brutally shot and murdered one day on a Saturday before he was teaching his class. He was like prepping to teach his class. And it was this big mystery. What happened? And then, of course, there were a lot of life insurance policies. That's not always a red flag, but it certainly can be. But then months later, surveillance footage came out showing Nancy driving in their distinctive minivan, and you can even see her passing by in the window, driving to and from the Culinary Institute. And when she was presented with that evidence, she's like, I don't remember. I just don't remember. I don't remember certain things. I'm old. So anyway, she was convicted too. So there are some ways that criminals really slipped up, and I guess we should be grateful that they do that.